Welcome to the next episode of Sijan the Scholar. And today we have a very dynamic lady, Professor Paromita Chakraborty, who has made not only the space but place for herself, and she is rising day by day due to sheer consistency and hard labor. That is also called as ReAcTT at SRM Institute of Science and Technology. And because the SRM has several campuses, she works in Tamil Nadu. And her research domain include multimedia transport of legacy and new persistent organic pollutant and the bioavailability of organic contaminants. Dr. Chakraborty has worked extensively on many Indian riverine ecosystem, including the transboundary rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra. And she is a big proponent of wastewater-based epidemiology for disease surveillance. And I think we have been also sharing some funding together and doing work on that. Professor Chakraborty research is funded by numerous organizations. To name a few, not only the national but the international organization like Research Council of Norway, Swiss Agency of Development and Corporation, then of course the DST and others. She has more than 100 papers to her credit, and she has guided half a dozen PhD. She has had several honors like Ajmal Khan Award 2024, ACS Early Career Chemist Award, Eminent Young Scientist, and so on and so forth. And also HEOC Environmental Award 2020. So maybe that year, because of her, I didn't get. I mean, anyway, thank you very much, Paramita, for accepting this invitation and this early morning connecting with us. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Professor Manish. I'm very happy to be here with you today, a stalwart like you. And thank you for this invitation. Yeah.
Little bit, let me tell you about this Sijan Scholar because you are here. I started it in 2020 when there was the pandemic. It started when my PhD supervisor, Professor Hiroki Furumai, retired. And I thought that I want to know his journey, has been, because now he can say something which maybe he would have not told me during his job. So I told him that, can we talk on Zoom? And he said 20 minutes. I said, okay, but I will record it. So he said, okay. And that talk goes on 2 hours. Since then, I made it formal, but I had not been very lucky, or I don't know, that to have many women scientists here. And now you are the third. So this is a series, and because it takes a lot of time and everything, but so at one point I was like stopped it, but then I realized that many people look forward to it. For me, it may be I had a conversation and I have some work to edit and all those things, put it. But I was surprised that many young faculties working in IITs, they have given very great feedback. And they asked me, I want to meet you. Like I went to environmental department or water resource department, and somebody from physics department is saying, I want to see you. And why? I don't know you. So because of Season Scholar. So it has a very wide reach. And so we are going to be doing another episode of it. So anything that you want to say that how about this Agenda Scholar, if you have heard before, or
yeah, after you told me actually, and I was following you in LinkedIn. I saw that very big guys had been part of your Season Scholar. So really, I feel fortunate that you have invited me. And also we are interacting, and I'm knowing you more personally. Earlier it was more, officially or professionally.
Yes.
And I would say, this is needed because many a times it's not just the research, but for young researchers, when they understand how the journey started, or even we don't talk about all this with our research scholars. And given the fact, writing, reading book, nowadays actually nobody has much time. People are not reading much, but they're much observing. So a video always works better. And then I think it's a big opportunity. And at when you are growing age, if somebody wants to listen from you, it's a privilege actually. So thank you very much.
I didn't tell in the introduction that you have been also WARI Fellow holder. You were visiting faculty at United University of Nebraska Lincoln, and there the host were the same person. And I also happened to interview him. Professor Dan Snow has there is a one episode on him. So tell me, Paromita, about your journey. Like how you were a scientist child. How many siblings? What is your parents? And whatever you want to say briefly.
Well, my family means before marriage, my parents, of course, mom, dad, and my little sister, baby sister. And actually, you know, uh, I would say like taking up the subject that I am working now, it had a lot of emotional touch. I'm a very emotional person. So things started, you want to know more about how research started, right?
No,
Yeah,
I first wanted to
no,
know how
about
you
me.
were as a child. I mean, whether you were very studious child since childhood, or how was your childhood, and how was your yeah, I mean, parents
Okay,
and
this
their
is this
influences.
is a very, very important question. And because, when I was a little girl, I was very skinny and used to do a lot of tantrums. Not tantrums like, what we say badmashi, like climbing on the trees and, not like this, what you see me today. And of course, being from a Bengali family, in this, we learned, how to dance. So dance was my passion. And I never missed it. Like since I started when I was 9, and I was trained in Bharatnatyam. So, and of course, like later on, a lot of fusion moves. And that's what my life was about. I was in group theater along with my studies. So I was not like the studious type, but somehow managed to score really good in the classes. So things were going well. Parents never had any complaints. And rather, they didn't bother me much. So I could do anything. I was also doing a lot of sports when I was a young girl. Taking care of my house, leading the house as a house captain, etc. So I was very busy in doing a lot of things. And as being in group theater I think I started acting since I was in the 5th standard, and I really miss the stage. So
No, you are now at the world stage, so
yeah, in a way, maybe you're right. So it was a completely different life for me. Not like many other girls who would be most, in studying all the time or have a very typical schedule. Yeah, of course, there was discipline in the sense I was learning a lot of activities along with studies. So it was not just studies alone. Yeah.
first the junction or first turn in the education is 12th. So in 12th you took math and biology both, or only biology? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
both.
both. And the parents wanted you to be, typically parents want to be either a doctor or engineer. So what they wanted you?
Uh, okay, then this is again another important thing. Like, my parents never asked me to be anybody. They gave me complete freedom. And since I took science, it was my wish. Actually, one, I myself was thinking that I would like to be a doctor so that I can serve the society more. My wish was like, because I learned this from my grandfather, during partition time when India Bangladesh partitioning happened and they all moved here. My grandfather was taking care of the community a lot. I remember one thing which I keep telling my kids or my students also. We along the bank of the Ganges, we had a small house, and we didn't have electricity, even though my grandfather could afford it. So one day I asked him, like, why are we not having electricity at home? we can have fan because we were enjoying evening time, the Ganges breezes, which will come from the windows. Then he told me, he used to call me Uma. Uma means Durga. If we light our house and where other people around us who cannot afford it, how will they feel? This was one thing I could never forget in my life. And even today, if I plan to do something, I always think what will happen to people around me. So it was all like that. It all started, little learnings that he gave and made me very disciplined, making me waking up early. And I used to enjoy it, and we had like a lot of plants around and doing a lot of eco-friendly stuffs those days. So that's how my childhood was. And I spent more time with my grandparents. So life was a little different then than what it is now. And then coming to my dad was also a very simple person. Um, I'll tell you one incident. I was in college those days, and my dad was an engineer, mechanical engineer. He was working with Birla, and he actually cleaned the entire community road. Then somebody from neighborhood came and told me, "Oh, your dad is a little crazy, He's an engineer, he's cleaning the road." I said, and now when our prime minister does it, I posted something in Facebook. I said, like, people like him only, they are there, so you people are having a clean, neat surrounding. So I think I have very crazy, childhood, like where growing up with such parents. And mom is a very strong lady. She started her own business. So altogether, I feel, the learning was in the process. Everything that happened, it just kept. So coming back again to be a doctor, yes, that made me feel that I want to, as a doctor, I can serve the best. But then I was also scared I may kill somebody. This is my own psychology. And then I decided, like, okay, maybe agricultural science can serve the country more. Even though I was doing software engineering concurrently, my physics and maths were really good. Chemistry was my favorite. So, but then again, this happened. And then I realized, like, okay, I would like to go for agriculture, maybe agricultural science, and then I can serve the country more. And then having doctor before my name was a name, if not as a medical doctor. So yes, then nobody stopped me doing anything. So that's how it started. But however, I couldn't qualify. That is, there was one exam I wanted to go to Vishwabharati. Vishwabharati had agricultural sciences. And my aim was, because I was also passionate about dancing and acting, I thought I can do all if I am in Vishwabharati. So that was my aim. But then I couldn't qualify the second level of the exam. And I was really very upset. I was so upset that, that entire world was falling apart and things like that. And yeah, then things changed, and I took up the subject I liked, and story went on.
So actually, what I can see here, although I want to know a little bit more detail that what was your father by occupation, and what was your grandfather by occupation, and what business your mom opened, because I want to make you a little more the spill
Absolutely.
the beans. But what I can see is that this was the education, like you said, education in the process. You had a very good idols at home, and that's why it was not a pressurized environment, like you have to become something or like that. Just if you will do and live normal life, you will happen to be there until where you have explained me. So what was your father and grandfather, and what business your mom had?
Okay, so again, I tell you, like, since it was a struggle, because my grandfather left all his property, and he was pursuing law, and also he was practicing this homeopath to give some medicines to the community dwellers without charging anything. So he was more like, kind of a person who was living for the society. And then he grew up my father in a very simple way. And of course, after partition, what happens is like you have lost everything. So the place they had was very small and they were managing in a small place in a very nice way. So my father became a mechanical engineer. And those days, engineers were less and he could fix machines like anything. But again, he was very crazy, workaholic person. Like, if something is in his head, he will not come out of it until he has fixed it. I think those traits I also got from him. And then what happened is my mom's business was not so easy a path because my father fell sick, very sick, and it was me and my mom who had to take care of the family at a very younger age. So my mom decided, she, I think, got married when she was 17. So educational background, she couldn't pursue very high studies, but she's very sharp, very brilliant. She started a business which is for demetallizing the water that is used, when you have the batteries, you use this water to clean the batteries. So he was bidding for railways, she was bidding for many other companies. And I saw like how she was struggling when I was in college. And yes, of course, I was giving, batch after batch tuitions to manage my survival. And we were, you can say, very lower middle class family, even though my mom had a very strong, like parents, like who were rich. Even then, she didn't decide to depend on them. She decided to do something of her own. And I will tell you, we have Holi, which is like which gives us a very festive mood. I still remember after 10th board exam, I came back from my boarding school and my dad was sick and it wasn't a great time and it was Holi. ISSAC finishes, during the Holi time. And that was a time that my mom said that, we have to start something because dad cannot work now and he's not that fit to work now. And yeah, and this was the case. And even earlier days, what is to happen, those days, I think the parents won't, save a lot of money. So even though when he was in Birla in Madhya Pradesh, like he was, something happened between his the management, like he didn't want to do something with one machinery, which could have been really something serious to the people, the laborers. So he was supporting them, and then he just didn't like it, and he would quit and come back. So he was like that, a rowdy kind, and they didn't have any. And I mean, they didn't want to save much actually, or even though he was making good. So until my third standard, things were like very different, like very posh childhood, and then suddenly things changed. And I still remember like that 10th standard, my little sister was very small then. And that journey, if I remember today, I never knew the next 10 years would be so difficult at the age of 16. Yeah. And since I started my PhD, I left country. Till this time, it was very, very struggling at home. But, I had a lot of fun doing drama and my dancing along with my studies. And I used to teach a lot of students who are now big doctors or engineers. So batches after batches, and kept myself so very entertaining all the time. So it was like that. And my mom's business, yeah, this started since I was like, I just completed my school and came back. Since then, she started her business, and that was a new journey we had. And yeah, something very interesting, a very strong lady, I must say. Yeah.
So do you know that now you can realize that I am a good interviewer. You wanted to skip that, but I didn't let you. This is the very, very important section. You just wanted to say, okay, I reached to graduation. And actually, I do believe that, and I recently was saying to my postdoc that We are what we are for because of our upbringing, because of the childhood. Childhood is the one that uh, made us our youth. Like if anybody has to give in credit for my any comfort that I am availing today, was my youth, when in my 20s. In my 20s that I worked, and was out of a choice, out of a decision. It was my choice to
True.
work hard. It was my choice to not to go to the festival, or not to go to the marriage and studying. And that's why even same parents, different child do differently. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, this is how progression happens. Um, I
No,
am.
I must tell you what you mentioned, that not going for festivals or marriages. Yeah, I completely agree. I used to ignore those, but I will not miss my shows because, like when I was performing, I feel I have an identity there. So
Yes, yes.
it was also like, I think we shared that kind of an era where we wanted to, we wanted to be seen, or we wanted to do something that is, more productive, or can be for the mass, or, something more meaningful, not just, enjoying. Or I still remember, I hardly used to go for, ever went for movies, I'm not sure, but sometimes my mom will tell my friends, like, why don't you take her or something? But very opposite kind of a,
And
yeah. And
sacrifices are meant to be made to build a career and to build a life out of that. There is no, and it's the kind of investment. The if I would have bought a store, this I used to have iPhone since 2006. They say if I would have not bought that and bought the shares of Apple, I would have been millionaire by now. So, but okay, I didn't invested in Apple share, but I invested in my labor and in my studies, and that is also giving me a good return. So, yes, so that is, and also your path went to the agriculture. I was briefly studied agriculture for a year. What was your, so finally, where did you take admission in agriculture?
okay, yeah, then the story starts there. So yeah, I couldn't go for agriculture, and I was very down. And even though I had good scores, but I didn't collect any form because I was so confident I'll make it there. So always, I'll select one place and I'll stick to that. Professionally, personally, mostly I've done that, not ask for more options. I liked one thing and I want to go for that. So, but this time it was a little hard. And then because I then took up a major in physiology, and it was a college near my house, but that college was producing very good candidates. And so I did that with major, and minor was also having chemistry. And then after doing physiology, then I wanted to do, actually my interest again, that working agriculture, or those days environmental science was not there.
Yeah.
Environmental science started actually from our year. So I chose for marine science in Calcutta University. And the idea again was that I would like to work on more on environment, and bringing in terms of like the impact of
Mhm.
some, whatever I'm studying as a major scale. But still, then I was not clear what I will be working on or what would be my research. And simultaneously, during those days, I also did another master's in environmental ecology and environment. This was because, there was no net if you want to do PhD, and net was not there for marine science. So I took up that also. And after that, um, during my master's, I would say this was one thing that actually impacted me a lot. During my master's, what happened? One of my very close childhood friend, I didn't know. I mean, he was a very, very good friend, and he taught me many things. We used to do a lot of experiments together in school. So this guy, I got a call from him during my grad studies, and he said like he wants to tell me something. And after a week, I receive a call that he is no more. And the shock that I had was terrible. And I couldn't understand like what is it was all about. Then I inquired. Actually, he wanted to tell me that he's suffering from cancer. His mom also passed away in cancer, and he was also suffering. And actually, he was improving. But then this one incident, gave me such a shock. And you know how school friends would be like, you will be really very attached, and we used to share a lot of things together. Now, coming parallelly, when I was doing this master's, and one day we visited, in Kolkata, there's an area where there are a lot of leather complexes are there. And this leather, industries were actually dumping their effluents to the fish ponds, and the fishermen were actually struggling. So the professor who took us there, he explained us that how these people are not getting their livelihood. That was one time, and I was thinking, there's something I need to do, I need to work on, which should be, I should come and start helping these people who are actually, not getting the right things because of the industries who are not taking care of their own effluents. But again, these two things were not connected. These two dots were separate, okay? These dots got connected when I went for a training program, which was under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in Parangipettai, in Portonova, in CAS. There, when I met this Professor Subramanian, who was working with Professor Tanabe, an eminent scientist who works on a stalwart in the area of POPs. He gave in his lecture, and he introduced us to this contaminants which are in parts per billion levels, which are not visible, but they can be terrible and they can be extremely carcinogenic. And that's where this dot connected, and I felt I'm not going to do anything else other than this. This is what I'm going to work on. And but then, even if you like, and those days, you also can remember, you were also in Japan. I think we are almost, same time. Those days, nobody was talking about emerging contaminants. Nobody, even now, it's still less. But so that was the thing that motivated me, that now I got my head clear what I want to do. Nothing else, nowhere looking here and there, but I want to work on POPs. So there were opportunities to do something else.
Just one question in between is that there was, because you said that the money and the family was not going through, everything had changed. So after graduation, it was very easier for you to prepare for SSC or the railways and like that. Why you went for master, not the doing those finding those jobs, bank jobs?
Very good point. You're opening me up so easily. See, that's very true. I forget about SSC. Today, I would have been CEO of some big corporates, because I was doing software engineering. I took education loan and I was doing software engineering concurrently from NIIT. So I was doing my graduation, plus I was doing this. So I was traveling all the way 2 hours every day to come to Central Calcutta, early morning classes, and then going back. So my mom, who of course she was expecting me to be a corporate leader, but as I told you, I'm a very emotional person, and whatever I got the grooming from my grandfather and my father, like I thought that corporate world is not meant for me. I was really not very comfortable. Though everything was going well. You know why I did that software engineering? So that I get a job. I help my family to take, I mean, I can take care of my family, but still I can do what I want to do. so that, the monetary point won't be there. And whatever help I need to do, and those days, just, not, I mean, if you are into any such courses, people would get such high paid jobs. And I'm talking about 2000, like 24 years back. So those days, if you have done such courses, you are doing programming, by now you would be somebody else. But then again, this was my case. And I tell you, before going for PhD, that was another thing. Our stipend in India was 8,000 rupees. Now, I had to support my family. I was telling you that I was teaching and I was doing these tuitions. Um, I was making almost 35 to 40K those days. And when,
By
yeah,
teaching,
I was by teaching,
in the
and still
coaching.
I was doing my research, coaching, and also I was teaching in some part-time places altogether, and still doing my research in cultivation of science with one of our professors. And it was not paid. Nobody will pay you for doing anything there. And they will just allow you to give some of the instruments and things like that. So now when I think it looks like a story, but it's true that I was making that amount of money. Now suddenly, if it cuts off, I go for a full-time PhD, 8,000 rupees. That won't be beneficial for the family. So then when I came to this Parangipetta, and somebody told me that, foreign fellowships, like their amount is more. So you can send back
So hold
home
on.
this similar amount.
I need to be on the timeline, on the train.
Um,
Because otherwise you will finish the journey very fast. So I was one thing remain is that, or I missed it, that your father has a health problem. Can you specify a little?
It was like, actually he got a bad pneumonia and he was not treating it. So this health issue was so severe that we had to bring him back. And then after that, he couldn't manage much heavy things, and which was actually his career, and he couldn't pursue that. So he was mostly at home, and now, like, when mom had to take up the responsibility and following her, I had to be also very responsible. And my baby sister, she's 10 years younger to me, so she was a little child then. So yeah, this was the case.
Pneumonia, actually, I hate this. It seems like this is a only pneumonia used to kill child and something, but my father was three brother, and out of these three brother, we are eight brothers. And among eight, there is only one who was elder than me. And he, during the corona time, he actually died from pneumonia. So then,
Oh.
so I hate this disease, but and I don't know that when it becomes many times the asymptomatic or whatever. But anyway, so coming to this second point is that you did your 12th, a board 12th was in which year?
12th was 97, I completed.
So 12th was 1997. I'm not interviewing you, so don't worry. And
No problem.
physiology, you graduated by 2001 or
Yeah,
yeah,
2000. Yeah,
2000.
3 years. Yeah,
And then the 2002 you completed master.
yeah.
And then so no gap. You didn't take a
No,
break
no.
or something. So and which scholarship you were getting? 8,000 CSIR or UGC?
I was preparing. I didn't tell you I get it. I got it.
Mm.
The thing is that I was planning to prepare for NET. So I did another master's that I completed in 2003. It was, that online master's, crazy thing. But like 2003, when I completed, I was planning this. But then 8,000, if I
Yes,
was
I
thinking
got it.
in
I
this
got it
manner,
now. I got it. I
yeah.
just got confused. Yeah.
And
Mm. So 2003. After graduating, so during your master, you heard that scientist talking about and also then since before completing masters, you start searching for the foreign scholarship.
No, after. It is after, because this event happened in 2003. And after that, like, yeah, it was like not that professor himself, when I said, like, I'm very much interested, and he also, like, he was also interacting. We also had to give some presentations. And when I gave my presentation and he found me also, I think, little a good prospect, then he himself told me that, yeah, you can be in touch with me. This is my email. And, those days, everybody was not having email IDs. But because I was doing this software engineering. So today, when I look back, I used to think that how, God frames everything. We didn't know that time. So he gives his email ID. And I still remember I started working with his team. And even in 2005, the entire trip group from Japan was there with me in Dhapa, in the open dump site. And slowly, steadily, I'll keep telling you like what, how the subject motivated me and how things started. Yeah.
So which scholarship you finally end up with?
Okay, so now then again, I was not in Japan. The story again changed. So what happened? 2 years I was working with them, and everything was going well. And this was a time
Yes,
then,
you were
and I
working
also had
in Japan or in India?
No, in India. So this was now again I'll tell you a little bit about the work as well. So what I liked in his talk was that he was talking about these POPs, especially in the breast milk. The POPs being a lipophilic compound, they will be there in the breast milk, and breast milk can be a very good indicator, and then how this contaminants can get transported to future generation. And having this medical physiology background, this was very easy for me to perceive. But then again, these guys were working in marine, and they were trying to bring in the health impact. That was something very striking. Now, what happened is they were also working in the open dumps in Asian countries. So I felt that I remembered that the sampling that I went with my professor, with the fish ponds, with the leather industries, I felt like that is the area that we can target. Then I ended up Dhapa, which is a big open dump site in Kolkata, and nobody actually enters there, or you don't know, like, there are villages that has come up on in the dump site. I think only now I'm working in dump sites all over the country, but like Dhaba, Kolkata had one where you have villages in the dump sites, and this is like very close again to the Bangladesh border area. And so what happened was, I started framing a design, and I wanted to work on those females who are delivering kids in those areas, and taking up to the fact that how there is transportation of these molecules that can happen and impact the health of the population. So that's how it started, and I started working with this Ehime University, Japan, and with Professor Subramanian and Professor Tanabe. And there used to be, and then the following year, they asked me to apply for a PhD. And these are the samples that I was collecting. I should be bringing it and start my PhD there. But everything was fine, and Professor Tanabe was praising my work so much those days. But unfortunately, somebody else made it. I couldn't make it. And now I was, now all my dreams again got shattered once again. And now I'm thinking, like, I have no reason. Like, what would I do? I'm lost. And should I should I just stop this and then forget and do something else? But, my mind was not accepting. The POPs was, just in my mind, and I didn't know what to do. And then suddenly another friend of mine in my theater group, he was having maths background, and he was planning to move to Canada. And my childhood, not childhood, college time, my best buddy. So he was that time in US, and so I was communicating, I was talking to them and trying to understand like if this is a good option. And he said, yeah, coming to the West is always a very good option. So I was thinking that I would plan something like that. And then what happened the next year, some of all these professors from China, Japan, UK, they met in Japan for a meeting. And there they came up with a big proposal. And but the PhD should be stationed in Chinese Academy of Sciences in Guangzhou Institute of Organic Geochemistry. So there, Professor Tanabe and Professor Kathiresan from here, from CAS Pvt, they all recommended my name. And Kevin was also there, Professor Kevin Jones and Professor Ganza. And that's how I made it up. Now I got a position with a CAS fellowship. I applied for the fellowship, and this time I could crack it. And I made it all the way to China. And with these 4 countries collaborating together, so now not one Japanese mentor, but now I have a UK mentor, I have a Chinese mentor, and also an Indian mentor, like that. So this is how up to my fellowship and starting of my PhD. And this was a very I would say like a dream come true, because I was given a chance to work on POPs.
Professor Kathiresan is in which university?
He was in Pvt, that they have a Center of Advanced Studies.
Yeah, so how did you end up there? Because of the marine?
Because of that ministry training. He was the one. He was the convener for that training, MOEFCC training. So he saw me.
Later on also he kept on doing.
Yeah.
He kept on doing. I think you might have joined that training in 2003.
2004. Yeah.
I know that even some of my
you also been there?
No. But my very good friend at JNU, she joined there at that time, and like it was a very good amount of that training. Real training, I would say, not only a study, but they took to the field, and the lot of things they made it to happen. And
I will try to, sorry to interrupt, I will try to tell you one thing, one very important thing during the training. We were working on mangroves, all are marine people. They are more so marine biologists. Marine biologist, but then my interest was more on chemical oceanography, the chemicals and the impacts. But then this mangroves, I remember, I should tell that like those days during the training, we were given this exposure, how this plantation of the mangroves can stop the erosion of the land and can help. You won't believe, when I was back to meet Professor Kathiresan, and there was a lot of community outreach. So this was another very good exposure. Later, after tsunami, when I visited him, he was telling the villagers were praising him that those mangroves could save their lives. See, what he started long back and trying to do for the community actually was a lifesaver when the calamity came. So all those things were very, very motivating, and he's a father-like figure who whose blessings I can never forget.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember those time, and I know this workshop, and many times I would say that these are the very good nesting place for good researcher like you. I am now sort of confused about, so who is your PhD supervisor?
Okay. So actually, officially, it is Professor Ganza. Yeah, of course. Another very, very smart and good. I don't know what to say about him. Amazing guy. So much to learn from all these guys. So he was the main, and of course, I got the guidance of Professor Kevin Jones from Lancaster University, and Professor Tanabe was always there. And so these all these people were actually my mentors during my PhD time, and more with Professor Ganzang and Kevin Jones. The interaction was more with this two.
Okay, so Kevin was officially co-supervisor?
No, not official supervisor. He was the one of the project leader. So we had I was really lucky that I was part of his mentoring and a lot of discussion because me, Gan, Professor Kevin, we'll be together discussing our work. And there also there were a lot of initially there were a lot of struggle there, but not in terms of with them, but with the work. I was very new to this work. So yeah, yeah, definitely there were a lot of discussions in terms of modeling and how do we take up the data, how do we work on it. So definitely they all were absolutely
Yeah, I
amazing.
mean, you are lucky in terms of people that you worked with.
Absolutely,
Bec-
absolutely.
because I
Having the
know
first paper in ESMT,
yeah.
I tell you, the first paper in your life and in ESMT,
So it is like
that,
beginning here. That is the difference. I mean, the beginning
yes,
just so
yeah.
it was a very flying color start. Kevin or Ian Cuisine, I remember him. He was chemosphere editor, and he rejected one of my paper. And then I said, "Oh, really?" He just reinstated that, and nowadays many editors that are deaf, they don't hear, but he realized no, he has a point. And he first time the word reinstated, I learned from his action. He took back my paper and then again reconsidered it, and finally eventually it accepted. It is a very cited paper, and it was my PhD work at Tokyo University.
Super.
Now let's hold on here because how did you choose the topic that I have already thought of? Any PhD time, any one good memory, one bad memory
Good memories,
related to
it's
research?
like good memories are like so many.
So many.
The entire PhD tenure, it was, I mean, I don't know, people, or maybe I'm a very positive person. That's another thing. A lot of time I'm being told, anything I see, I feel the good things in it. So even though language was an issue for me initially, like normal communication, but then I made so many friends and now we are collaborators. So things are a little different that way. So coming to a good memory, special good memory, definitely the day the SNT paper got accepted, and it's within a month of our submission, and definitely I can't forget the first day. And it was like the day I submitted, and next day I'll tell you one very good thing. The next day I started working on the next paper, and then again comes and he sits next to me. He said, "You could have taken a little break." I had a small surgery at my back, so if I'm using my mouse, it was a little bit bleeding. And so he wanted me to take some rest. I said, "No, no, no, I need to work on it. I can't wait." And then next is in the flow. Then he comes and he asks me the meaning of my name. Do you know the meaning of your name? And then actually, I didn't know that. And he explained me that this name is in Buddhism, and he was reading a book. And there's something connected with stubbornness and what. So maybe like he was explaining me, and such a sweet person. And so this was one thing that was something that I really remember very fresh in my mind. So the next day, how we were talking to each other and talking something else. And it was not always science, I tell you. It was also a lot about about life, about the countries, cultural similarities, and not much politics though. So it was the good memory. And bad memory, of course, the beginning when I went there and I just started, doing the experiments. But my first experiments failed drastically. It was because we were dealing with parts per billion, and there was a little bit language issues. So, again, this has a relevance with the topic as well. So the project had a plan, and the project was to work on the coastal length of India. So I had to do that work. But then when I was learning the experiments, I was doing some work with the South China Sea. And during the experiments, I didn't realize the spiking of the standards. I made a mistake there because my syringe was slightly on the top and the recovery was not so good, and which we get to know only after experiments gets over. And actually, I was learning everything, like on my own, converting it into English and then understanding the machineries and dealing with all those. And you have to do everything on your own. So the guy who was actually helping me out, he didn't know English and I didn't know Chinese. So this small change, that I made in the experimental setup actually impacted me a lot. And that was, I was devastated. I was feeling like, what did I do? Where I scored the highest, I used to score the highest in the practicals. And now I did something like this. So shame on me, and like, how you are at that age. And of course, like you feel so bad. And then I asked again, like, can you give me some time? We need to discuss. So a couple of times he was very busy. He was not able to give me enough time for a day or two. And then finally, when I got an appointment, he gave me, okay, we can talk for 10 minutes. And you won't believe the discussion went for 1 hour, 40 minutes. And after that, I designed my own project for 7 Indian cities. And then life, it was again another change that happened. So this was a very good and a bad memory, but bad memory started with something really new. So I don't know, today it's no more a bad memory, but
Yeah, no more a bad memory.
yeah.
Actually, I do remember that actually these are the sweetest memory, because nowadays that bad memory you will cite as a example, as a encouragement, because those things in India, we have the technician available, human resources plenty, and just give the sample, they will run for your those things most often than not. And but in our case, when you are going to the different countries, and here ironically we both have done in some country where the language was different. I mean, not an English speaking country. I did in Japan, you did in China. And my mistake was not a huge one. It was just like I was running IC, and it needs eluent. So I thought it will run another 50 samples. I calculated through that. I didn't know that there are a lot of things will be used in the washing, and then the instrument got out of order. That is the one of the memory that I have in that category. But now I cite it as a example for doing a good analytical hand in generating the good analytical hand. And there it needs importance is that because this is our bread and butter. If even if now I don't go to lab, but if my student will bring the data, I will know where they might have done the wrong without being
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
So every step, because we have lived it, we have done it, so we know that where is what is happening, what is not known, what is wrong, and so these things is really nice. Let's stop the research here and let's go to your life. So when Paromita become Mrs. Paromita, when did you meet your spouse? And tell me something about that.
So when I was doing my PhD simultaneously, I happened to come across this guy and Elvis, and I mean, like,
Elvis.
he also helped me a lot. Elvis, his
Yeah,
name is
he
Elvis
was
D'Souza.
Indian.
No. He's an Indian, of course,
Mm.
yeah. He's a Catholic, and he was working in Oman.
Mhm.
And actually, when it was coincidentally in some social media, I met him, but then he started helping me with my sampling in India. And then I figured out, like, okay, maybe he's good that we can hook up with each other, because he appreciates research, even though he doesn't have that background of, he's basically, his major is economics. But then when I published my first ESNT, I tell you, so oh, you published in such a good journal. Then I became very happy that he understands my research and he won't stop me doing from what I want to do. So that's how it all started. And but again, like I'm maybe I'm a little more focused more onto work, and so that part also possibly he accepted that, okay, she is more engaged into her research and other things. So this is how and of course, as you know, I'm from a Bengali, that way you can say Brahmin family. So we met each other's parents, and somehow they liked each one of us, and they felt that, yeah, they're good kids, they can be together. So he's from Bombay. I met his parents in Bombay, and he came to meet my parents in Bengal. And then we brought these parents to meet each other. So it was also something very interesting. And yeah, that's how.
What he
And
was
after
doing in China?
PhD, no, he wasn't. He wasn't in China. He was in Oman. He was working for Saud Bhavan
And
in
you were
Toyota.
working in China, so?
Yeah. So that was, I said, in social media. I met him, and then again I met him in India. During my sampling, he helped me a lot. And then I felt, okay, one who helps me in research can be a good prospect for me. So that's
What
how.
he is doing and where he is
He now or then, you mean?
now?
Okay, now he is with me in Chennai, and we started actually. We moved after I moved from China to Hong Kong. He also moved in there, and then we moved to US as I was having a postdoc. So everywhere he managed a job on his own. But then when we came back, we decided to start our own company on plastic recycling. So he was taking care of the majorly that unit, manufacturing unit. Yeah.
But I don't know whether I should ask or not, but we can edit it out. So it was too late for you to fall in love or something like that, because
Mhm.
during masters and between master to the and you were getting PhD,
Mm.
and maybe because you were just study focused and like that.
Yeah, actually, yeah, late because I got married at 29. So my PhD got over, and then only I got married. And I met him when I was 27, like,
Yeah, yeah, sure.
and yeah.
And now coming to this transition phase is a bit tricky, and you can give advice also if you were also thinking that, okay, what is going on, and which one, or you already got a promise that, okay, you are going to be my postdoc or something. What happened to that transition?
You mean to say after
PhD
PhD?
to, yeah, but,
Okay. Okay. So yeah, when I was completing my PhD, actually, again, there's another thing that there was a plan that GAN had, that I'll be going to Hong Kong for half a year and work with Professor Xiang Dongli
mhm.
for half a year and in PolyU. But somehow it didn't work out. And but I wanted to work with Paul, because Paul Lam was one associate with Professor Tanabe. So I wanted to expand a little more on the biota part, because here we were not doing much on the biota. So, and during this time, Paul also needed a postdoc. And in the dioxin meeting, so all my postdocs are from dioxin meeting. So I must tell all the students do attend. So Paul was chairing the session, and when he offered me a position in City University of Hong Kong in his group to be a postdoc, and again, from his lab, when I went to present in the Jackson meeting in San Antonio, again, Ken he picked up and he said, like, can we work together? So it was like that. Both the postdocs followed by, yeah.
Great. So now in US, why didn't you apply for a particular, like one thing I am finding it a little bit, maybe because you went with the flow, but you didn't take it back and say, okay, now I'm going to apply some known fellowship like Erasmus or Mambugakso or Fulbright or something like that. But you got with the CAS, which is project related. And after PhD also, you didn't say yourself, okay, I am going to do Madame Curie or the JSPS or something like that. But you went and by the why?
See, you're right. I didn't look for any fellowship. I told you, I have this habit, like, I just know I have to, I want to work with this guy. And I applied and I got it. It was always, I was lucky, I would
Stubborn,
say.
stubborn. This is Paromita.
No, I just felt like it just
Why to
happened.
apply and ask you? And because
And
whoever the guy you picked, they are big fellow, they have their fund. So they, if they,
yeah, and no problem with money actually. And GAN didn't stop paying me actually. I was actually doing work for both of them. So he there were a lot of work, uh, and during these days also, I tell you, I just got married and I was in Hong Kong, but I was taking the first train to the lab, last train back home. And also another thing, the second ESNT, I'll tell you the story that when we submitted and I was just married, I moved to Oman. And then it got rejected. I was so mad. I said, okay, I'm leaving you and I have to go back to my lab and figure out what happened. And then I came back and I was really not convinced with the review comments. And this, I will tell you, was a very important paper on pesticidal pops. And it was a model work. And then I came back and there was a CTAC meeting. Again, Kevin, I asked him, like, can we meet and discuss something? And he gave me something like 15-20 minutes, but again discussion went for over 2 hours and we discussed like so many papers together. And then he said, yeah, surely this should go for ESNT. And again was like, no, we can try for Stoughton, because I said, no, let's try it. I'll figure it out all. And then the second ESNT comes,
so
Easter
the
time,
earlier it
end of
was rejected from ESNT itself.
ESNT, and again it was finally accepted in ESNT and again resubmitted. So I didn't want to give up on that because it was very important, and I felt like this is worth of publishing in ESNT. So it was like that, and then like yeah, after Paul and next step whatever. So it was also with the project that they were doing. I was more looking for I was telling like that the chemicals that I want to work with and how they are working, how their lab setups are. I was actually trying to train myself. I never wanted to stay abroad. I was training myself that I come back and one day start this research in my country, and I will not send the samples out. And believe me or not, after I came back, that's why if you see initially, my number of papers were not as big. If I would have easily sent out the sample, Gan says, that, my lab is all yours, everybody. I
Numbers
collaborate.
are. Mm.
Of course, I collaborate, but then I wanted to build up this lab. This is needed for the country. And today I feel so good. Today I'm 46, but I'm I see that so many youngsters are getting trained in my lab, and they are from ISSAC, IITs, and also other government universities, apart from my own students and scholars. And they don't have to worry about any money. That's also what I want. They need to be trained and in a right way, and even though I take this pride, like I have a lot of civil engineers and environmental engineering who did environmental engineering and then came and joined me, but they know so much what they are analyzing, how to do that. They're handling it so well, they're experts now. So this is what I wanted and I could make it. So if I would have, even worry was not planned for me, even I didn't plan for worry.
I will come
Just
to
one
that.
week. Yeah.
So just how long you been to the United States? 2 years, 1 year?
No, 1 year, 1 month. Yeah, 13
Um,
months.
because you got a job, so you came back, or because the project got over?
No. I actually simultaneously I applied for one place in Massachusetts, and that
For
was
postdoc.
almost getting through in the University of Boston. And then that was a postdoc up to 2014. But then what happened is like my that time director of SRM, Research Institute, he was visiting a lot of universities and he visited our university as well. He was trying to bring back a lot of people who wanted to come back. And then he visited us and he said he can offer a job to both of us like that. And I then anyway, it was very simple. Then they gave us the airfare to come for an interview. I just took it casually. I said, okay, I'll meet my parents and go back. And it was like that, but they paid for everything. So I came here, I appeared for the interview. That also I took it in a very light mood. Of course, there were all this experts from ISC and IIT who was interviewing us. 17 people came from different parts of the world to appear for that interview, and they paid everybody the airfare. That was the first thing. Like I think
Yeah, I have not
something
heard
very
of
very
it.
you will never hear about. And it was the brainchild of the then president of this university, and who is now like whose brainchild was the research institute. Actually, they wanted to bring in people and give them a very good startup money, about 50 lakhs, to start that work. So after I gave the interview, I went back, and then that interview with the other lady, that was an NIH project I was discussing. Then suddenly, the final, interview, she was asking me, "Don't you want to start your own research group?" And I had in my mind, okay, I will do 3 years of postdoc abroad, and then only I'm eligible. And if you remember those days, only ISER, I think it was ISER Bhopal had environmental sciences, and nobody else had. So I thought after 3 years I'm eligible, I will apply there, and that was the plan. And then it suddenly struck, yeah, my 3 years is getting over. Then, yeah, then this will be up to 2014. And then I said, you give me some time to think about it. And while I was thinking, in between, this offer letter comes from SRM. And then nothing doing. Now, no looking anywhere here and there. I'm coming back, and they were giving 50 lakhs to start. So, of course, 50 lakhs is nothing in terms of POPs research, but they're giving me the freedom to start what I want to start. So that's how
They gave
I
you
came
also
back.
your husband's job to your husband.
No, unfortunately, that didn't happen. Okay, so that didn't happen, and that gave us again a little bit of our. And then we thought, okay, we don't need to go for that, and we wanted to start this manufacturing unit. So I said, okay, I have a job. You can take the risk to start the unit.
Mm-hmm.
And to start this, I will tell you, this was not meant to make money. I always wanted, like, if I can manage, I'm telling you, I'm emotional. I didn't plan much in my life. I didn't know many people also, I tell you. Only through work, I know everybody now. But so my idea was like, if I can start an orphanage come an old age home together. So I needed more money. You can think it's very kiddish. And so then I think Elvis, he tried to support me. He thought like, okay, he can try this out. And then we want to do something eco-friendly. So this was another idea that we were exploring, to recycle plastics. See, in 2012, when I joined here, no much plastic discussion was going on, if you remember correctly, right, in India.
Of course, yeah.
But that was a time I was thinking, because I was working on the open dumps, and I've always felt plastics, and I was working with e-waste plastics. So it's very important for us to do good recycling of plastics. And then that's how like the idea came in, and we started. He agreed to go for it, and now we have a patent, like on the product as well. However, the business was became non-functional after COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah.
You said that you wanted to orphanage. I didn't get that.
Yeah, this was my wish, long time wish, that an orphanage come and old age home together. I wanted, if ever I make money, my idea was if I can make more money, maybe I can start something like that. And that was there. I mean,
So
that's something that I
it is
thought
in
of.
your bucket
Yeah,
list.
yeah, it's still there. It's still there. It's
Okay, I mean, I can tell you that this is innovative. This is really innovative because if they come together, they will be big support for each other. The old home people lack their own people, and these kids need love. So I think that's a noble cause. Count me in. So
sure, sure. Of course, it's for everybody. And when I came here, actually, there is a place called Shivananda Gurukulam. It's very nearby to SRM. I used to go there, and of course, as I told you, I was missing my stage. So I'll go there and teach the kids. They are mostly from single parents. So I'll teach them dancing, and I was doing that. But after coming back from Wari, I think this the timing was like this, and after COVID, this all stopped.
okay.
This kind
Now
of activities. Yeah.
I will come to the Wadi because first time I came, I now remember my colleague who has gone to that workshop, and it seems now that somehow I heard your name or something like that. But that time we were a student, so we never care who will become what in future. But um, first time after that, I think I heard your name when you got Wadi. And so how was it? How did you came to know about why you chose
Oh,
dance? What happened?
again, I told you, I don't collect information. I don't know people and I don't gather anything. So what happened is I went for a Indo-UK workshop. Professor T. Pradeep from IIT Madras, he was conducting it with Abdur Rahman University. So somehow I got that invitation. I was there. I just came back and I went to meet my head of the department, civil engineering head of the department. And then he said, like, Professor Satyanarayan that time, then he said, Ma, that VC has, that time VC, he has given this one fellowship, you can apply. And he puts that paper on my table, wall paper. And then I said, sir, you really, you want me to apply? Now, because I was told that I should apply. So I came back, only 7 days were left to apply for the fellowship. And I applied. It was just like that. And then when I was looking for all the list of the faculty members that you have to pick up with whom you want to work with. So I saw Dan, and because Dan has a lot of instruments and he's an expert with all this. And those days, one part-time faculty member, she joined me as a PhD scholar and she wanted to work on antibiotics. I'm a person, I was more a GC person. So now I wanted to learn LC. I took that I need to train myself before I guide somebody. So that was my wish again to come and work with Dan, and I applied. So yeah, and then
I
it
thought
just happened.
you just came to know about me. No, no. Okay, he applied Wari, I will apply too. Okay. So you were, when did you go there? You came to know after that? When did you come to know about me first time ever?
That is very important. Like, see, because I told you Elvis is from Bombay, so he was insisting me I should, because our factory was in Gujarat. So they were insisting that I should move in that side. Then I told you, like, I was looking for IIT Gandhinagar's website, and then I heard about your name, of course, in Wari when I went. And then I looked like you moved in there, IIT Gandhinagar. And then, I think we have PhD same year or something. And then we had a discussion about you, like, oh, see, like, so IIT does take like from other universities, and you were already in a government university. So that's what we got to know. And of course, like they were briefing about you all, and I got to know about you. And I got to know more about you during the COVID time. Like the quantum of work you did is like, I can't stop praising you enough, because this is so much needed. And you actually opened eye opener, you were eye opener for many of us. So what I started was in a different way, but like how you were doing, and you were already having that expertise. So this was so much needed. Yeah, that's how I got to know about you.
Actually, when I came to know that, okay, that you first, I noticed you like, okay, worry this Paromita, but then was a kind of like I was a little bit possessive, and when he came, he visited me too in IIT Gandhinagar. And at that time he visited you also, and he
Yeah,
told,
we had a workshop together. Yeah.
and then he was praising you like breadth and length. So I was like,
I do the same
oh,
for that.
I was not feeling good. Okay, okay. Anyway, now we are
I
moving to
want to tell something about him. Like, after Gan, Kevin, it was Dan. Such an amazing person. What a wonderful human being. And of course, his knowledge, his expertise, everything is super. Simply, I mean, and I don't know what connected. It was like really very good. And we used to discuss so much in length and so many things we could. It never felt like, he's a very senior, of course, a stalwart and such a humble person. Yeah. Dan is really someone like I really look up to.
Yes, and while he keep on analyzing, he whistle, and I love that sound.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now we are starting phase 2, where we will take advices, and for that I have invited two PhD scholars who are going to ask their own questions or advice. And so it is like those people for whom we are talking, they are going to ask directly. So Achal, you are not visible.
Sorry, sir.
Well.
Hi, Achal. Hi, Sachin.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
So this is the section we have added in season 3, where this is a surprise package, because otherwise, why people will watch video? So we invite random scholars who can ask their own question. It is nothing fabricated. So you know that even today, just while having conversation, I told, please send some to people, and they too appear. Okay, so Achal goes first. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hello, ma'am. My name is Ansar, and I'm a PhD scholar. I'm doing research from under the guidance of Professor Manish Kumar. And my research area is compound exchange. Like I'm just focusing on flood, drought, and heat wave and earthquake. And I will predict this with the help of modeling.
Great, great, Achal. Best wishes for your future endeavors. Yeah.
Thank
What
you,
is
ma'am.
your question?
Okay. So ma'am, I have few questions. My first question is, how important is solving in a PhD journey, and how did you develop that skill?
So, if I heard you correctly, you are asking like how important it is to solve a problem. Yes. Yeah, Achal, like usually, students identify a problem statement many a times, and then, or if it's a project, a problem statement is already identified. So somebody is working in the project on that problem. But nowadays, I have started something new, that we do take students for outreach, where show the real-time society. and the problems that are being faced there. I'll give you an example. Say, for example, there is a community here very close to Adair River, where it's a garbage station, and huge quantity of garbage are being dumped there, and open burning is taking place. And so the community is highly exposed, and it's a marginal group. So what we do is, like, in some of the special days, take this group of students and try to tell them, be it a computer science student or they are from a biotechnology background or whatever, based on your background, they can identify what problem statement they should take up, so that this problem are very real time. And the problem that they are solving, they can be, of course, there are very serious problems which may not have all the time societal impact. But here, like, because our subject is like that, we have that privilege. So always now, like, I wish, or I want that people should pick up real-time problems like this, and then they can design it in their own way and try to find a solution. The solution not only for the thesis as such, but which can be taken up by the community, which can be useful to the community, not just as published papers. They can develop a product to clean the water in that area, or they can do some health impact studies, which can help improve the health conditions. Or this computer science who are developing sensors, how to sense chemicals or plastics in the water bodies. So there can be multiple problem statement. So now I have a little bit changed my idea, which I had, of course, when I was doing my PhD, and now I want the kids like to take up something real time. And many a times nobody would visit such sites to identify a problem. So this is a new strategy I have taken up in my group. Yeah.
So if Achal would have asked me this question, I would have, I might have approached differently. You have given a beautiful reply, and I do believe that the researchers should also enjoy problem solving, and that gives much more satisfaction than citation and number of papers. Papers is like for wise people, for those people who are reading. You take science advancing, but more often than not, it is other way, and it is a okay. I have also done ours exemplary, but doing problem solving is also a very satisfaction, and we are in a situation to do that. However, I interpret Achal's question as problem solving attitude. Like if you get stuck what to learn, you get stuck
Okay.
how to apply, get the consumable, you get stuck in many, so many problems comes in the journey of a PhD, how to get that problem solving attitude. And this is a beautiful question. I didn't ask, but everybody needs to learn that. So over to you.
So now coming to the fact that after you have identified the problem, while you're solving the problem, you face a lot of hurdles. Yes, see, in my group, I have made it a little easy. Like I, I, I always get everything. I don't give the scholars the headache that they will struggle with the consumables, or they will struggle with small things, because always I want to fill up my lab with whatever is required. So that is there. Fortunately, I'm able to do that. By God's grace, that fund is there. But I will tell you certain other things also. This is not only this problem, but sometimes when we make some mistakes, and some mistakes can be really very serious. Say, for example, when we are analyzing some, I'm giving a small example, again, starting with the recovery. Now, say we have to identify, this example might help to understand it better. Like we were doing one recovery experiment. It was a project with Spain, and a huge quantity of money involved. Like in a 15 minutes breakfast meeting, I could manage some 50 lakhs fund. And now experiments, those days I had 2 postdocs in the group, and I was actually, I like to be in the lab and check what is happening. And I asked the postdocs to check the spiking part. But after the experiment results came, because we had to use their HRGC, we sent the samples, and when the results came, we saw that the recovery was so poor. And coming back to again some old experience that I had during my PhD, I said, what exactly happened? Now, when this happens, something like this, usually many people would take it like this: oh my God, what did the student do? Where we went wrong? But then I was trying to ask myself, where did I go wrong? What I did not do that this mistake happened? Because it was my mistake, it was not their mistake. Of course, I can yell and get rid of my tension by doing that. But my always intention is, now how do I resolve it? Scolding and all doesn't come in the picture at all. How do I come out of it? 2 days, it happened on a Friday, December 2019. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, I went and watched, I tell you, Anchal, back-to-back movies. I was not doing anything, just wanted to keep my brain away from all this. Monday morning, I come to office, and then I thought a lot where it went wrong. Then I went and asked, like, can you guys check with a syringe the volume that we have spiked and the micropipette that you have used? I have a doubt that the micropipette, are not taking the same volume as we are planning to spike. And it was exactly like that, because in the syringe we could see, and then we realized like we need to calibrate the micropipettes every 6 months, which we missed for 2-3 months more, and the syringe helped, so the volume corrections happened. And then that paper came in waste management, very unique, very good work. Now, this is how I deal with the problems, like when it comes, how to resolve it, not like, who did it and how the mistake happened. After resolving, definitely when the paper came, like much later, then we all sat together. And I keep telling them, like how I'm telling you, I keep telling the stories, even to the newcomers, that we do such mistakes. Okay, but mistakes are not a problem. Or if we are struggling in something, as long as we are trying, there is a way out. We cannot stop trying doing things. And sometimes accidentally, we get to know something new. Some accidental, research outcomes do come. So you can embrace that as well. So this is my style of dealing with it. Yeah, Manish.
Actually, he has replied beautifully that both aspect, because when she told problem finding for doing research on, that is also I think two biggest problem of a PhD journey starts with what I do research. It seems everything has been done. So there she replied that how to choose the practical one and go in the living lab kind of thing, and then see what needs to be done. Be motivated, be passionate about like my research should not only bring me degree, but also should help the people. And the second thing that she is saying, that she does not go and behind that cause or things, but solving attitude, that okay, how to get it now, whatever happened, now what? So what is the next? I also would like to add, because this question is really beautiful and the answers are also, but if I want to extend a little bit and contribute as a co-author of this reply or correspondent to this reply, then I would say two more things. One, that don't see PhD as a, how to say, the work to be done, or a 50 over match, or that okay, once the 50 over, if I can survive, I will get the degree, or the match will draw, and then like that. Problem solving, the attitude is very much related to why you are doing PhD. I mean, you please watch this when it is on YouTube, that this interview itself, that how can I call Paro? Okay, just how Paro has been always passionate and cause, and how the dots of like some fighting against for the cancer and all those things. He always seems to have a cause for which he was doing, not like doing PhD for PhD. And So if it is a passion, then you will end up with doing, if you will take it as your job. Okay, PhD is your job. Supervisor is to supervise that whether you are going right or going wrong. So whenever you are confused, am I going right? You can go to that person and say, is it fine? I should not go wrong direction too long so that I cannot return. Only for that, it is a kind of flag and a direction, or supervisor job should be only that. I hate mm, my PhD was the difficulty was for almost 1 year, I was just trying to find what should I do. So the problem should not be given to a PhD scholar. The PhD scholar should find their problem, define their problem, and define that hypothesis, make the hypothesis. That's the difference between master and PhD. So the master student can be given the hypothesis and they need to test it. And test, interpret, data generate, and those things is the master work. But the PhD work is find your problem, give the problem a statement, give the research hypothesis, design your experiment, and go on. If you are not doing that part, you are, even if after PhD degree, there is no, you will not have that. Those people, I clearly can see the two type of PhD holder. There are many types, but two major type is one who has done this thing. They found their own problem. They have made their own research experiment. The rest of the life, they will always keep their head high, and they can always debate on the topic. They can know that they know how to approach a problem, how to find a problem. They become detective. So I'm sorry to be a bit longer. It is Paro's interview, not mine. But I would say that please do PhD, not for your job, not for a scholarship, not for something. If you are passionate, then do. Then you will look for problem. Last 7 days I didn't get a problem. It's not getting interesting. So am I doing right or not? Something like that. Okay, so Achal, thank you very much. Do you want to ask something else also? I don't know.
Yes, sir. So, ma'am, I have another question. Like,
But last
how do
question.
you,
This is last question. Yeah.
yes, sir. Ma'am, how do you balance the demands of PhD research and with the personal life and the family commitments?
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, as
Anchal,
a
I think
woman, this is a
you will
good
face the
question.
same thing after some years. Yeah. Like again, kids in lab and kids at home, they're all very demanding, of course, in different ways. And maybe sometimes it eases the work also, like you understand them better. But actually, I don't try much to balance things. I just take one day at a time. Especially after COVID-19 pandemic, I have realized that nothing can be planned for long. So just today, whatever is scheduled, I'll just manage. And of course, there is a routine. And sometimes, like I was telling Manish the other week, that, like maybe 3 a.m. I'm going home from lab. And then maybe 6:30 a.m. I'm going for a plantation drive. Next, and then I come back at 11:30 or 40, and my kids says like they want my food and I have to cook for them. So everywhere I'm responsible and I should do that because they cannot, imagine that a mom is busy and doing something else. But yes, one thing I do definitely, and I'm really thankful to my kids who understands me very well, that I keep telling them every now and then when we are together that the work we are doing, or engaging them in the work, that the work I'm doing is not just for for you, me, and the family, or is just for making money. The work that mama is doing, it has impact that you in future will benefit many people. Your friends, your neighborhood, everybody can benefit. So we are trying in a very small way. So please try to understand that sometimes if I am little rushing or hyper or something, please do forgive me. And I keep saying sorry to them whenever I feel that, yeah, I have some guilt feel. But then I keep telling them this, that, and I think kids do understand, they are nowadays, you guys are so matured. You understand like, what what is correct and what is incorrect, and if at all it is acceptable or not.
I mean, again, I'm sorry. I think I always switches the places. But this is I don't try to balance. Is also a kind of mantra for me. And I am happy that you didn't be like you could have sound differently. The very easily you could have sound. Yeah, I on Sunday I make sure I spend time with my kids. But I can tell you that the if you will go to her Facebook page, you will see that she is a very dedicated and celebrating mother. I am not seeing many of the mother who are who in the science or otherwise is putting so many videos, so many status, so many. She is celebrating every moment of her daughters. She has a two daughter, right? Two daughter, and she is celebrating her life.
Three daughters.
Three daughters, sorry. Three daughters. She is also very productive like me. So she is celebrating it. And this one I didn't tell you, Paro, but I have been noticing that, and I have a high respect for that. So what I want to imply here by stating that quality is important. I mean, the quantity whole day you are with in the house, does it help? And I mean, I do believe that if I know that I am returning after 3 days, like now I am returning after 3 months. Now I am just going to give them full attention for 7 days when they will become fed up and say, please do your work. And like that.
Right.
But I can, so one thing is that quality is important, quantity is not important. And in every profession, it happens. Every profession, whether you are a banker job, oh my God, the police job, tell me which job, post office job, railway job, which job you are talking about, where there will be, in the flexibility that is there as an academician or scientist is much higher than the other things. And now come to the PhD scholar that you are. I am not angry that you asked, but I'm replying that way. But if a PhD scholar says, and especially the lady scholar, and I don't say girl because I believe that they are really adult and sometimes they are married and sometimes they have the kid and all that things. So the lady scholar. Um, First of all, I already told that if you're passion, then come. Many people try to have a side business. Many people try to have that. Okay, my husband have a job and everything. I also get, and many 30%, 20%. I mean, the scholars I am seeing many part time and oh, she is who is she? She is a wife of a professor and doing PhD with me. I mean, this kind of thing is, I'm sorry to be non-political, but I am fine with that. Such PhD are, I mean, this cannot, the sewing and cooking can be the part-time. This PhD should not be the part-time unless being I mean, of course, a woman grows and all that. And still, I believe that it is fine. But if you are doing PhD, just not to do anything with it, and just to have a doctor degree and just to have those things are bad. Anyway, so what I was telling about that your condition, like sometimes you can seek, I mean, you can seek your parents and understanding that give me these 3 years and I will get back to you. And of course, I am always there, and make sure you give them quality time. Make sure that never, one thing I would say that sometimes during PhD, we hesitate to take leave. Don't do that. If there is a Diwali, if there is a Holi, you should be with that. Holi will never come again in your life, and this meant to be spent with your family. So it means that no matter if it can wait, it should wait. I mean, like something which is like really I am growing my bacteria, and that bacteria will die if I will go and play Holi with my in my village. But otherwise, go. I have not done it because I was in JNU and maybe I was not going there. And at times our Paro was in China, I was in Japan. We could not go and visit our home. But whenever you can afford, please do it. That is the one thing that I am telling you from my mistake, that the one festival, one chat, and just now Paromita has told me I wanted to have this conversation. She told her, Durga Puja, I am going to Bengal, I can do it from this one. So I was very happy that no, it is not that she is not going. If somebody is cut from the root, it is not at all good. Because your society, your village, if you don't know, you being there may change anybody's life. You never know. Some kid is looking at you and then they decided, oh, I am going to be her. I am going to be him. So such things do, and I am sorry for a long answer. It is going to be midnight. Okay, Sachin, thank you, Achal. Yeah, you did well. I will invite you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Achal. Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so
Sachin,
much.
quickly, only one question for you.
Okay, sir. Hello, ma'am. My name is Sachin Party, and
Hi,
I am
Sachin.
currently pursuing PhD under the guidance of Professor Manish Kumar at Tech de Monterrey. So, as I have now just one question, so uh, I'll be asking about what role does how the collaborative work helps for us as a researcher? How can we progress, and how should we find out the way to find the right collaborator with whom we can collaborate? So if you can focus.
Okay, let me try to answer you this. It's a little tough question. Tough in the sense because collaboration, it happens different ways. Say, for example, now, I'm working in certain area, and then there is a scope, like I want to collaborate with Manish because it should be like, we contemplate each other, say for example, like if I am dealing with the chemicals and he's dealing with the microbial part, and then we find something common, just giving you an example. So it's always if one person who's having an expertise of something and joining hands with the other can take it as a bigger coverage and we can answer a bigger research question. That is a very good collaboration. And when we join hands together, it means, see, we all have developing expertise in one arena. And then if we are joining hands with someone, that someone need not necessarily be our background. Okay, so that person, say today, if you are collaborating with computer scientists with AI/ML, utilizing that for our research work, that is also a good collaboration, that we want to predict something or we want to have an answer that we may not get only with the experimental data. So collaborations can be multifaceted. We can plan it and it can be very effective. It can be actually very effective. Another sort of collaboration in our area is also when we have certain facilities with someone else. Say, for example, if X has a lot of high-end, like I told about Dan, he had very high-end facilities, and then I want to cross-check. I have done this collaboration a lot. Like whatever experiment I have done, I send the samples to other labs, like with Hiyoshi, or if it is with the Spain lab in Spain, or now with NIVA or anybody, like we are sending the same samples to develop ILC. That is another kind of collaboration, or even in Japan. So this collaborations again helps us like to do something more because we have some limitations with us. In return, of course, when I actually do that, if I'm collaborating with someone, I ensure we are jointly working on a paper or a patent or anything that I also contribute significantly, or that is needed. Like it's not just, or sometimes somebody else comes to my lab to do some experiment, but we sit together and discuss how the value addition is important in any collaboration. That's one very, very important thing. And definitely collaboration in the country or across the globe, this again helps to solve larger problems. Alone, we cannot do much. And now is an era which is appreciating interdisciplinary research. Anything like, having the sustainability heading this, I understood one thing, like only when we join hands together, we work together, we can do good things. If we try to work alone, which mostly is the case, I think Manish would agree, like many a times, we don't want to open up. We don't want to give away our niche. It's not giving away, it's just joining hands together. So that is collaboration meant for me, adding value to the system and answering bigger problems and identifying, that the collaborative network can give understanding to not only the youngsters in a particular region, but across the globe. Anybody can access it. Anybody can do it. So to me, that is collaboration.
She has answered very honestly. I mean that this morning I have been seeing earlier I used to appreciate her for her science and for her energy, but now another feature of being honest is being there. She is telling what she is doing. That's all. She is not becoming philosophical or preachy. But I can afford it a little bit. So I mean, no. So my seasoned scholar is for that. So here I am taking question from your perspective, from a PhD scholar perspective, that at your stage, how does it matter? Because Paro has here her lab and her expertise, he can even cross check my and other samples and like that. She has many things to offer. So at a PhD level, what networking means? Uh, Maybe you will be not happy or happy, I don't know. But the point is that for a PhD, I take PhD time as a creating the product. Creating the product is that this time should be spent on making yourself as a product. Why the hell somebody would like to work with me? So this phase is that make yourself work again and again, an hour and hour to make a product that, okay, now Sachin is a product with whom anybody would love to work. Because I can do this. So you have to make yourself. So this is a building time, one thing. However, networking does not mean, networking is another meaning. After a long time, I am thinking that networking means being nice and being not selfish. So being nice and being not selfish starts, and charity starts from home, which means that even in my lab, there are 10 people working at my time. I can tell you, the Sachin, whoever was with me at JNU, 90% of them are professors from one university or another.
Absolutely.
Those people, those 20 people that was there during 4 years of my PhD time at Tokyo University, they are a big people they are a HOD in Australia, in Sweden, in Europe, in like that. Had I done a good work with them, good karma with them at that time, it would pay me. I don't need to do any networking. I mean, I can tell you that nowadays, at a short notice, I can organize a big event or something. Or if my name is there even in CC, people give a consideration that, okay, Manish has invited me. And because whenever I got an opportunity, I try to be nice. I try to be not selfish. I try to be like, okay, I will not mind that what Paro will think of me. So the best mantra of being a networking is that be nice all the time. Don't keep your selfish thing back. I can tell you, it's just a matter of time. Matter of time, like what you want. Like you go to a home, you come to my home and say, sir, I need a glass of water. Or you come with my home, give little bit time. I will ask you, do you need a water? So it's all about little bit patience and your karma that you bring some lychee to my to my house. So of course I will give you water with some snacks. No, because you bring those things. So that is also in a nutshell. I'm sorry, my professor comes out.
No, I want to add one thing here. Yeah, as you rightly said, I think I was more talking about the professors' collaboration, but when it comes to students, yeah, I completely agree with you. Same experience I too have. Like in the lab, different country people we are meeting in the PhD time, and when we are helping each other, and later we are becoming collaborators. So that's like, you know, very very good start in a PhD time, that your friends are your future collaborators, because you cannot always collaborate with your mentor, and mentor will have you know
retire.
Retire soon or something like that. The mentor is mentor, but then the friends and the collaborators you may get, that is there. But I want to add one more thing here. This is what again I have started or initiated, and I wish to do that. Sometimes, you know, somebody from a completely different background can be a very good collaborator. And then how that happens, I tell you. Say, for example, you're working on a model and you want to use, you're using a Windows-based model, and then you want to use some other programming that model, somebody else who has some other expertise. He can be from a maths background, who is using that model, MATLAB, all the time. So you can always walk in. I keep telling my students that you can walk in, collaborate with that friend, and find out, like, you know, you don't need to waste your time in, you know, learning that all by yourself. You have a friend there. He's also a collaborator for he or she. He can teach you how to understand the model better, much better than anybody else. So you're saving your time, right? Already one who is an expert in that, is you're saving your time. That person is also your collaborator. You're going to use your, say, for example, you're using the micro Raman. You may not know how to use it, but the guy who's running the micro Raman, the technical guy, he can also be a collaborator. He can also co-author with you. He can train you because he has complete expertise in that particular instrument. So collaboration for students' perspective, these kind of miniature version of collaborations also helps us a lot, saves our time, and you get the best you know, learning experience that you possibly you may not be able to manage it. You will do it. You may take 1 year to learn it, but this can happen within a month time. So you save another 11 months to do something else. And in today's world, I think that is very necessary. Yeah, I just wanted to add that part. Yeah.
Please consider it an opportunity, help each other, and invest in the future collaboration. But don't fall in competition and lab conflict and all those things. No. And then suddenly people will think, oh, how you become so sweet? And then you say, seasoned scholar. Okay, I learned it from there. Okay, thank you, Achal. Thank you, Sachin. You may leave. And if you will say 3 milestone, I mean, when you consider in your career so far, of course, there are many milestone is going to come in your way. But if you have to say the 2 to 3 milestone of your career so far.
So far. You mean to say so far? What? Yeah. Okay. So first one was when the POPs lab got established. It took a while. Initially, it was just a room, and converting it into a POPs laboratory. This is the third lab that I have designed and developed. So this is the first thing that I would say, of course, a big milestone, because we can bring in a lot of international projects, and we are like it's a small group. Mine is a small group, or the center is just a center, but small. You know, it's very small in its structure. So that definitely is one. And the second one, when we expanded from the research group and ReAcTT came in, that was one of the very big milestone. And I must appreciate, like, you know, the idea when I discussed with my vice chancellor, Professor C. Muthamichelvan. He was so positive, and then like the idea of sustainability and work on it, like, and the encouragement he gave, like, you know, that we are having this mega events and understanding. It's not just within. Earlier, before this, I would say I was only focusing on extensive research. I was not doing much in a bigger aspect. Then since I started working on the sustainability part, that I can bring in. So now collaborating with so many departments, bringing in so many departments under one umbrella and doing something. I think I would say this is like one of the very big responsibility that I got. And ReAcTT is just 1.5 years old now, or about to be 2 years in this December. So it's pretty small time frame that we had, but yeah, definitely it's aiming for much bigger prospects and contribution to the society, to the community. So this too, I would mention something
Not
really
like
big.
becoming associate editor of
Yeah, associate editor of Stoughton. That was a very big surprise. Personally, I was when Jay mentioned this, and yeah, I was really moved, and I was very happy. This was my personal call. Of course, it's an individual growth, but
No,
when
this
it
is
comes
this
to
is a
milestone,
milestone. This
yeah,
is a milestone,
yeah, yeah.
and I told you that I appreciating your honest. Now don't make me change my mind. Be open, be honest. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the personal milestone is the not always we can be Gandhi, not the and I like most of the time I like the human face of scientist. I like if somebody is human. That's all. Who has influenced you the most so far?
My life.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't say one,
No,
but
you can say two, but you have to take
yeah,
one name in your for your life and one name for your career.
okay. Life, I didn't tell you like every phase, like last, I think 25 years, like a lot of ups and downs, and what you need in life is a very good friend. And I have one, and actually he's still now here. He's with me here, Dr. Vishal Saraswat. We are friends since college days, and he had been a big motivation for me when I was very down. He would pull me up and giving me the right ideas at the right time, and he had been so kind and patient with me because I'll get so hyper and try to talk something which is not so friendly. But yeah, so I would say you need a friend, and who's like for such a long time, who's a friend becomes just like yourself. Like you see yourself in that person, and then helps you to grow all through. So that is there. And also, I must say that another person, like my grandfather, he had been a big influence for me, and above everyone else, like from a little child, whatever I learned, I got him for a very short period, maybe since I understood who he is, maybe 3-4 years of my life. But that was amazing. That really helps me to move ahead.
So Bisal is your colleague?
He's my friend from school, and our subjects are different. He's an expert in, now he's a cryptographer. He's working in Bosch, and he is a very fantastic mathematician and very brilliant guy. And we are friends for 8 years now. Yeah.
Wow. Great. Yeah, I'm jealous of you. Okay. If you are taking that name under that category, I mean, that's amazing. What do you think is how to, when do you think that it is now time to write a paper? Well, what do you think about the publication? What do you think about number of papers? What do you think about impact factors? If you want, you can reply all of them in one go.
See, when it comes to publication, I always feel it was from day one that whatever work we do should get published. Whatever, small way, even if it is like not in paper, like a book chapter, if it's a perspective, should get published, because what we are doing, everybody should know. And good, bad, ugly, it's not just for the lab, it's not a lab note. So that is always there. And so, I mean, the publication, when I'm designing anything, say, for example, we all know when we are writing a project, we know that how many papers we are aiming with this big work. Of course, this hypothesis may change, certain changes may come up. So that planning is, of course, there always. And I have, though the number may not be more, but I have this intention that it should be more of quality, and it should get published. It should not be just lying idle. That's one thing I try to maintain. And coming to the impact factor, yes, definitely, I would say, like, the high-end journals have attracts us. That's very true. But sometimes I have seen that some journals, I'll give you one example. This I keep telling with one grad student. I just gave her an idea that why don't we write a small review? I would say that I'm not much a review person, but then we plan to write a small review on bisphenol A. You won't believe, every week we get 4 to 5 citations.
264 citation published in reviews on environmental health.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
This paper, yeah. I mean, this is I can't tell you how it is, but then people and very high-end journals are citing this paper. So it is not always the impact factor, but I think the impact of the work also makes sense. And now you know that this thing is coming, that author's impact factor. I remember an editor from ESNT letters, in one session, he mentioned that, soon it will come AIF, not IF, like journal impact factor, but author's impact factor. Like, so the impact of the work, however, that citation is getting, recognized. And I think that is very important. But definitely, it is also true when we are planning, say, for example, when we are writing in ESNT, we cannot write too big. We have to be very precise, and we have to be technically sound. So when we are planning for a journal, at that time, whatever we have done, we try to fine tune it a lot. So that way, I also appreciate the journal's demand. It helps you to improve, or what you are portraying, or you're reading more papers to understand that how you take it up to the next level. So I would say that nothing of this sort, I don't consider anything of this sort, like, high-end or journals, if the demand is more, there's nothing negative in that. It's very positive. If we improve it, we are good enough, we publish, and if not, it goes somewhere else. That's for sure. And I don't want to keep anything that is unpublished that we have done experiments on.
Yes. So we talked about the journal writing. How do you take desk rejections? How do you take rejections after a few revisions? What will be your comment?
It depends. Like many cases, like I usually don't submit if I'm not very convinced. And sometimes if it is a very good work, but it has been rejected because maybe because some people don't want this to get published. That's what I think you meant, and which we understand very well. What I have done is, say, for example, if it has been rejected in Stoughton, then I would go and publish in JHM, just to, maybe to satisfy myself that, it can go for, I don't know what happened to my image. It's like, yeah, okay. Okay, so it has happened once, like what was rejected in EP, and we went ahead and published in JHM. So sometimes if it is a really good work and we feel that it's worth of publishing, and it should get the right credit. I take it, sometimes I take it a little aggressively, I would be honest with you. And but many a times if I feel, okay, this may not be worth of sending out to a Q1 journal, then I either try to do more work so that we can, it's accepted there, or otherwise maybe just go ahead and even small work can be published, as I mentioned you. So we can do that. This is how I deal with the rejections, I would say. Yeah.
What are the challenges you face as in a daily basis, being a research person or academician or administrator?
Challenge every day. I think there are not much challenges as such, but only thing is that when you are doing a lot of admin work, a lot of time is engaged in meetings and other things. So your research a little bit needs more time, and then you end up spending more end of the day and compromising on your personal time or sleep hours. And that is, I think that is more common in India, because here we don't try to stick on to time many a times. And of course, I have one negative problem, that when I say, for example, I start a discussion, I extend it a little longer and try to, especially if it is students, etc. We discuss and keep, just let we get engaged in different other research topics as well. So that goes on for a bit longer, but that's not a challenge. But that, I think I'm not so professional that way when it comes to students and the discussion part.
How do you do man management?
See, there is a schedule for everyone to, but I don't I keep them that's open. They can come and see me anytime. Because my office is next to my lab, so that is very much okay to, if they're having any troubleshooting or anything I'm needed, I'm always there. But at the same time, this is also there that we have to spend some amount of personal time with the kids as well in the group, and give them some space where they understand. I usually do that. Like, when they understand, sometimes it happens, they say days together, the student didn't do anything because of their own personal reason or something else. I give them that buffer time. So when they can come back, and then they can say that, yeah, we couldn't handle it, rather than, posing something on them. I usually don't try to do that. Definitely there is a sheer pressure, little bit of a pressure that, you have a deadline to attend. And mostly what I do is, instead of, making them like, being very strict, I just call them in my office and we discuss something personal and then come to work. So make them life a little easy, because nowadays you see mostly many young generation, they are like, they cannot take depression. They are like, in small things they get agitated, or they don't like it, or they don't have anybody to share also.
Yeah.
So those kind of small things I do to handle things better. And sometimes we are working late hours also, and we are working together. I give them a feeling that, see, we all are like scientists in a group. So it just that for experience, I'm on this side of the table and you're on the other side. So let's work it out together. And that works very well for me. I mean, for the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, this is right, because when I joined PhD, my professor told, this is not a course, this is a training. You are a researcher, I am a researcher. I told, I am just a senior researcher, and like that. And also, whenever I ask leave, he's like, he will agree so readily that I will feel like, are you angry? Or if you want, I will not go on leave. Then he will say, no, 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 no. If you will go in leave, you will come with very refreshing legs, and maybe you will have much better time. So, or much productivity will go higher. So, yes. What should we focus on that that can give us a competitive edge in research area? How do you stay relevant in research?
It's reading more papers every day, and reading papers of your peers, and that's very, very essential. Reading papers, I think, is very, very important. And as a student AE, I think I have that good opportunity. Like every day we have to read so many papers, and that's what I like this position also, because otherwise, when you get busy, you don't tend to do that. Another thing is I still do experiments. I still try to be in the method development of something going wrong with the data. I want to be with the machine, and every analysis that we are doing, because we are taking taxpayers' money and we are giving this data to the government. So we are responsible for every damn data that we produce. So we need to be responsible on that part. Yeah.
What is your advice to someone who is yet to decide if he or she should go for PhD or not?
I don't know, this power cut.
No.
Yeah. So one who is planning for a PhD, as you also mentioned in the earlier part, I feel one should do PhD only when they're passionate about, only when they have the idea in the mind that, yeah, I really want to work in this area. At least they will have that idea, right? Like what they want to work on. So I want to get trained myself in this area, and then they can give their best. If they don't like, I keep telling my students also, and I select them like that. Not much with whatever they have scored, but more with whether what they are taking up, they are actually willing to do it, or they want to do it. Will that be their passion? And many a times I say this should be your first love. Your research or your babies are your samples. So if you take it like that, at least for this 3-4 years, throughout your life, you enjoy it. So, but if it is a bitter feeling, it is just for the sake of, you know, PhDs will get hiked up in the salary. Of course, there will be some monetary benefit, but not like, if you get into a job. Rather, you can go for a job if you want to make money. But this has no direct relationship. We don't commit anything like that. There's no campusing after a PhD, right?
Yeah.
So it's all self-motivation, and we need to motivate ourselves every now and then, despite of the facts what we are going through or who all we are with. So personally, there will be some problems at home, and PhD needs more time. So you are getting older. So there will be peer pressure from family, both in terms of finance, personal level. You have to deal with that. Also deal with the negative part in the labs. And sometimes the mentor is also unhappy. So all those dealing is not so easy to handle unless you are motivating yourself or you want to do this. It's not possible. So that's what I feel. Yeah.
What is your advice to someone about to complete their PhDs?
If you're about to complete your
PhD and now worrying about job or postdoc, what you will be advising them?
See, I think in the PhD, the beginning first year is also very worrisome because you see all your seniors know everything. So that is the time when you're worried about. Again, in between, you enjoy, you have a better ride at the end. But while you're finally ending, I see many of my scholars like that, like they are very tense. Now, what next? Where do they end up? Yes, of course, we all were worried, and you should be worried. Only when you worry, you will figure out a better way for yourself. But I must say nowadays, like you need not always think about going for a postdoc. You can think yourself to get into, especially in our area of research, to get into industry, to get into the governing bodies like UN bodies, or even some of the big NGOs who needs tech guys to help them out. Because if you go for a postdoc, you will end up in academics, and academics positions are very limited. So don't only look for, my students are mostly engineers. I suggest them that don't look for a long-term postdoc also. better look for a job. If you immediately go for a job, your promotions would be faster. Or another thing is, if you're in the country, especially in India, I have seen that if you do postdocs like in IITs and you are more well known, and then you easily get a position back in a government position. So that is also there. I have seen many students doing that, and you save time. After getting a position, maybe you can go for a postdoc, then your promotion is still happening. So you save your age. These are the experiences which we did not know. And I would suggest you please take this opportunity. And all the corporate nowadays have ESG, Environment, Sustainability and Governance. So while you are completing your PhD, if you can have one certificate course with this, I think you have a very good prospect in the industry.
Great. What will be your advice to become a good teacher?
To become a good teacher, I think first thing we need is too much of patience and to listen to their worries, students' worries. And also when you're teaching, they're not listening to you. So again, you have to be very patient. And also you have to articulate a lot. You have to enact and attract them to what you are talking and maybe making it more meaningful. But definitely patience and in all aspect is very much needed. And internally you may fight with yourself, like, why is it happening like this? Because nowadays when you go to undergrad classes, you see that they're all the time on the phones. And you prepare so much all night, you are working hard to teach something, but then maybe for some time take a break, talk to them, interact more like one-to-one, and then you can again get back to the teaching module and give more real-time examples. I would say that I take them more to the field. That helps a lot.
What will be your advice to become a good administrator?
I'm very new as an administrative responsibilities, but I feel if you want to be a leader in a way, like again, you along with patience, you need one more thing, is respect for your fellow beings. Like, the respect will help you a lot. Like whoever is in whatever position, I think we need to respect that. And another thing is, like, we have to be strong that we cannot hurt others' emotion, but at the same time, we can give that feeling to our juniors and or whoever is working with us, that they also have a prospect. So if we grow together, I tend to do that as a leader. If you tend to grow together with your team, that helps better. That is more sustainable than individual growth. If you think about just individual growth, I think that would end up in a disaster today or tomorrow. So a holistic, team growth is always helpful. Yeah.
What do you look in a CV or a person before saying yes for a PhD position or hire in your lab or your department?
See, when I look into the CV, definitely if it is a position, then we look for the kind of publications track record they have and the organizations they have been groomed in. Those are important. And but for a PhD student, I see mostly the enthusiasm and the motivation they have. If our wavelength matches, we work together. And I tell you, I don't take immediately. I just tell them, let's work for half a year as a RA. And then if we can bear each other and if we can find each other, like we are comfortable with each other, then let's proceed. That helps. That many a times has helped me, like,
We talked about networking and you have already answered when Sachin was asking, but in networking, and you have already told, but I have been now asking these questions to my guests that networking is starting is easy. I mean, but the maintaining part is a bit tricky.
difficult.
So also keep it happening. I mean, and also having like a value addition that you want. You cannot be very explicit about it, that, okay, I want you to do that because they also have the same position and so something. It can be only indicative. So how to let them know your expectations and how to keep it going?
Well, see, here I would say one thing again, everybody that I work with, I think it comes with my this emotional part that I try to, whoever I'm collaborating with, like mostly it is like we are contemplating with each other. And I, at some point, we discuss very clearly. So far, I didn't see, maybe I was fortunate enough not to see like that, like, it's very clear that, this is what I can do for you. This is what I can do. And then please let me know what more can be done. So sometimes, say, for example, when I can see that maybe mostly we are comfortable, but sometimes the other person is not comfortable in joining hands in a certain section, I tend to inform them personally that, see, you have an expertise and I don't have it, and I really want to learn it from you, and it would be a tremendous help to me and my group. So if you think the ball is in your court, that if you think that you can consider that we are capable to work with you, then let's do that. So I try to handle it in, I don't think you may say that it's diplomatic, but I don't see it diplomacy, but I am clear on that. I will just write an email and tell that this is what it is. And coming about that, this kind of confusion, we try to debate and try to explain in a good way. And as you know, like most of the people would understand. I mean, and one more thing I would say, I'm very clear about, especially in environmental samples, many a times, it happens that when we are collaborating with a foreign guy, and I ensure that, we have a similar hold onto that work. It is not just, that we just send out the samples and only we are not here for collecting the samples and sending it out or something like that. But it's win-win. We have some expertise to give, and then you have some expertise to provide. So this has happened very well for me last over a decade now. And all the collaborations that I have, it's actually pretty long term and in different phases. So, I would say it's working well. And whichever was short term, but we didn't have bitter feelings as such.
Okay. This is about your big research goal in next 5 years.
See, now I'm focusing too much on this, the plastics and the chemicals and the interlinkages. It's not just the plastic, but plastics and the associated chemicals, interlinkages, and impacting the human health. Now, I want, and we are working in our group for past half a decade extensively, and it aggravated more after the pandemic. I wish to work on two aspects on plastics and chemicals. One is developing some cost-effective technologies, which we are working, and another part is the health. The cost-effective technology to take care of the chemicals that are coming out in parts per billion level, developing some filter beds, and like we already have something called Mantra Pot, an integrated system, which we are patenting. And so one cost-effective technique, we are trying to work on different types of filter beds and trying to understand incorporating with microbial consortia and having a constructed wetland. It's an integrated and approachable that community can take up. And another one is that I'm working out is like the health part. Now, like long time, that was my wish, my dream, to come up with, of course, with collaboration with our medical school and a lot of other collaborators, like whatever we are seeing in the environment, how to understand that to what extent it can impact the health. What is the bioavailability part, and not only in terms of, bioavailability, that the fraction, but also the body burden and what kind of health possibilities are there due to these concentrations. So these are the two I'll be aiming at next 10 years, and maybe it will continue more.
How do you see this open access publications? The more and more journals are becoming open access. How do you look at it?
This is a little debatable, actually. Open access, there were many journals which were open access, especially the bio-related journals, but they were high-end. It's not always that because it is open access and we can publish anything. But nowadays, there are many journals that has come up, and also many high-end journals have made it open access. And many a times it has happened that I think there is a little bit of misuse of this open access part, and wherein the papers that may come out may not be as good as the other which are in subscription mode. So I think the idea of open access was different. Say, for example, now European Union, whatever project they want all the papers to come as open access, right? Now, if it has to come as open access, the paper should be of a good quality, high quality. There is no doubt about it. Like, it has to be. Open access means it should be open to everyone. Everyone can read it. So European Union, the funders are telling that you have to keep your papers available to all, or your work available to everyone. So that approach is very good. But that approach I really appreciate. But then there are journals, I'm not naming them, where the open access means it's easy. It happens many a times. People quickly publishes it, and that I really don't support much, I would say.
Yeah.
Not support much. I actually don't support that factor. Like, just getting it published without much effort, and just because it's open access, you're paying and it can get accepted easily. And this can be dangerous to even, good journals.
Of course, like you said, that this is debatable, and I can debate it but several points to it. That several great journal have become open access only. I mean, that is making me really sad, because not everybody can get a project from European Union. Somebody can get from a little funding agency, and in India, the research that we are doing with a small money is and the prices are getting very inflated, like $4,000, $6,000. Is
Yes.
$6,000 is 4.8 lakhs rupees is a JRF, that 1 year salary.
Full-term salary.
Full-time. So this is so such inflation and making the journal into only open access, that is not.
That's actually very bad.
And in fact, we should move from this company mode to their own. I like those countries who are like Japan. They like to publish so many things in Japan society's journals, and they don't care whether it is this or that. And somebody who is just converting into the PDF, and just 5 people they bring on the. So there is a lot of commercial aspect is coming, and
Absolutely.
that itself says, and business is getting empowered. Empowered is like, empowered. It means like is getting paramount. It is getting more and more obvious that oh, really? I mean, earlier it was a sacred work. It was a some work that is out of like this is my duty to the social. people used to write in the CV. Now I don't see those. I used to write that, okay, the services to the academic societies. So in that case, okay, reviewing and all those things are there. But nowadays, the publication is becoming a very business kind of thing. Although not much. Earlier, more work was needed to send it to libraries, and then the people used to. But now this is online mode. I don't know that why such prices is being quoted and being asked. Anyway, you have fairly debated it, so let it put the thing. And about also the impact factor, you are right that okay, author impact factor and like that, because no journal can guarantee your citations and no journal can minimize your citations. I mean, if it is available and if Google search it is coming, and if your work is good, I was going through your Google Scholar, and if you will go to my Google Scholar also, the most cited paper is published when that journal has zero impact factor, no impact factor, in fact. And but it was published and it is now reaching more than 700 times cited. And so work is good, then there is no such kind of things are there. But yes. Now we are going to start part C, that is being human. You have to be very rapid. No need to explain your answer. Just tell that. What excites you about your work?
I'm pretty enthusiastic with what I'm doing. I
But
love
why?
it.
Why?
Because
Hmm.
it's for I'm able to serve so many if I'm able to do my work. So it's like for a bigger cause, whatever I'm doing. I'm fortunate enough to do research that can actually contribute, even in a very small droplet, but it can contribute to a larger cause. So I'm very, very, passionate and enthusiastic of what I'm doing.
Still, I didn't get what, but yeah, the work that I'm doing excites me more.
Excites me in the sense, like, I think
So
that
I mean, for me, the two things is very much I get name. I mean, the people I have seen that if you do work, good work, you will be appreciated. And that peer appreciation or those things is the one that is exciting. Then the second thing is that the making a raw people who is coming as a naive, I mean, just a beginner, and they become scientists and they start talking the real science with me after a length of the training with me. That excites me. So these two things are big.
yeah, I agree. I agree this part. This I don't see as excitement, but these are like more for me that you get back. The awards you get, like kids getting matured as a scientist. So that's like very overwhelming, of course. But
And also
excitement
my
part is
Google Scholar, the citations excites me. I mean oh good, this year I am more than 2000. It is fine. Okay. So anyway, but this is the actually I take it like you cannot work hard all the time. So these are the pity causes that you tell. This is the same thing that you told, that we have to keep ourselves motivated. So you already answered this question, that the some way or other, whether by looking at this or this or this, you have to keep yourself motivated to be able to work hard. And also because but at the end of the day, I think because we love our work, that is the real motivation. So I also endorse your answer, so don't worry. Tell me, what do you like to do when you are not working on research? Movies, Netflix?
Yes, of course. I love to watch web series and interesting thriller kind of web series I like. And apart from that, of course, I like to dance with my kids, which these days I'm not getting enough time. And Dancing is my passion, like, and also I feel nowadays that whatever research we are doing to bring it to the commons, to this awareness campaigns, etc., I would like to open up a channel and try to, or a traveler's blog, and let people know about what,
You are
how
going to
my
produce
stage
a
was.
competition for me.
I wished, I was not in stage for long, so I was not performing, and I want to come back in a online mode maybe. But I am still planning, for last couple of years. There's no time to do this, but yes, I would love to do that.
How do you handle pressure?
Pressure. Okay, how do I handle pressure? This is again tricky for me because nobody can pressurize me because I pressurize myself so much. So that's is always like that. I keep myself under so much of unnecessary pressure. Sometimes I would tell you this. So that is little.
This is a common trait. This is a common trait. Somebody told me recently, a very immediate person here. If you will be not working, you are not a Manish Kumar. So I know. So we put pressure ourselves so much. So
yeah, too much.
I would remember this answer that nobody can put me pressure because I am already always in pressure.
It's always like that.
What if things doesn't work? Things do not work. Like you are planning, you are thinking something, but it is not happening.
Yeah, if
You
things
fight
doesn't
with your
work the
husband?
way, yes, I went out a lot of times, yeah, to him, and he patiently listens. A very good person for that kind of a thing. But yeah, if things are not happening the way I want it to happen, I really get mad and I figure out a way. If not today, tomorrow, I'll figure out in my own way. Not with many things I do that, but only with my research and my work. Otherwise, I'm very flexible. But certain things I want in my way, of course, and I ensure that. And I think like the people I work with, I try to explain them why is it like that. Maybe even if the explanation is not needed, but of course, certain things I want in my way, and I try to manage it that way.
You had certain experience of entrepreneurship also. So, what you would like to share there? Once should we go there? Should we do that and do that? Then what to take care of?
Yeah, I have a startup now, and I have a feeling that I will be able to do good in the long run. It's because my first experience was not so good in the sense like I didn't give enough time. It was mostly Elvis who's giving more time onto the business. But as a researcher nowadays, you can also have your own product, your own company, and you know it better. I think we can stand differently. It's a different world now, and when you have your own product and you want to market it, or you have in a different way to place your product in the society, you can do it. Please go ahead and don't work for somebody else. You can work for yourself. You can be an entrepreneur, but plan it well ahead that whatever is your expertise, you try to stick on to that. If you're not sticking on to your expertise, and you bring in others, but you should have a design plan, like based on the investment that you're making and your break-even period. It can be a separate lecture altogether, but definitely you can give it a try. And I would suggest that try for something where you don't spend money, but you give your brains. That helps better. You are more relaxed that way. And we as scientists or researchers, we can do that. We only have that leverage to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You can sell your ideas.
So that is your three major strengths.
I'm very much determined. I'm very hardworking. And I value the other person's contribution.
You're something you are not good at.
I'm not good at networking. I'm not good at, I'm
No,
not good
you
at.
said your networking are no long term and blah
No,
blah.
I said I'm
It is a
collaborating.
surprise.
There's a difference. See, there is a difference. I'm collaborating. I told you, I don't know anybody other than whom I worked with. If you ask me, like I go for a meeting, I don't know how much I can pass my business cards to people and say, this is who I am. Of course, these days I have become a little smarter because I have some smart friends who taught me to be like that. But still, and say, for example, if we are working together and until unless you're introducing me to someone, until unless you ask me that three can do something together because you are the introducer, I don't directly go ahead and do things. So I cannot network well if it is not with work. If we become with work, we get to know each other, we become friends, we can work. But directly approaching someone, just whom I don't know, or trying to collaborate completely out of nowhere, or I don't know many people also. That's also there. Like many times, I know my friends; they know many high-level people, so they have a good network already to get rise in their life. But I actually do not have it so far. So my only network is with my mother goddess, my Ma Kali, and she is the only network I have with whom I can manage better. But other things are coincidence, like like if we meet, like how we met, and it's like that. Maybe that way I'm a little
Yeah,
shy.
I think, yes, I accept that you are weak in networking because if I were you, and even I am a little bit hesitant in approaching, but but if I went to that lab or like Dan and something, even during that time when you must be knowing that now Dan is going to IIT Gandhinagar, you didn't ask him to say him hi. That hey Dan, you are going to meet Manish, say him hi, say my hi to him. Even that word would have been enough for me to write you back and say that, oh, I got your hi.
Actually, you know what? I tell you, Manish, what happened? I think I was going some other country. Even I was not invited for that event initially. Later on, Shannon invited me, and then Rajiv invited. Even you see, like I didn't know them. I knew Rajiv through Richa, and then it was just I was rushing out, and then said like I will go. Or I think he told me after
Okay.
he visited your lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is just I was supporting your answer. So, yes, I mean, but one thing I may be wrong, but sometimes I believe that some desperation should not be there. I mean, I don't know, but today I get many good points that I feel like is good for me. Is that like X two, three things. First, I don't want any kind of desperation. Even if I will go to the any conference, first 2 days I will go and listen. Your first day or 1.5 day. Generally now it is a 3 days conference. So 1.5 day I invest to select the which paper I am going to listen and give them a good question. And by the second day lunch, people know me. Okay, okay, and they try to come and sit with me and talk with me and like that. So this is organic. This is I do not go and say this is my card and this is this one and like that. They are two talking and I go and interrupt them. That thing I don't do. So this is a similar thing that is you are saying. Second thing is that many times this short circuiting I avoid doing. Like if you introduce me to X. I will try and to keep you informed if I am going with X. Although many people can debate that what the hell. I mean
Yeah. It's
is
not
not
it's not mandatory. It's not
that is
necessary.
not he or she is not an empire to decide that what I am going to do with them. Um, but at least for initial projects, for the initial these things, I want to keep them informed because sometimes I feel like, oh, really? I mean, the it seems like the two people the meet and so I many people doesn't do that. We can talk about that. But yeah, it is nice to know that you are not good at dispersion, not networking, because if you take care, you said you respect the other people's feelings, so you are a good prospect as a person to collaborate with. Your most favorite book?
Favorite book, Old Man and the Sea.
Who is the author?
Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea.
Your favorite food?
Favorite food. Big answer. What food? I love everything. I'm a big foodie. Fish, any type of fish.
Which
Yeah.
fish?
How do I? Favorite is the Hilsha, of course.
Don't remind me, Sir Sohilsa. What is your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? I think I love water. Because even in the worst cases, yeah, I would need that. But other than water, I think favorite drink is buttermilk.
Chach.
I love it.
Favorite actor? Male and
Kamal
female.
Hassan, male Kamal Hassan, and that is old time. But with time, it's
Yes,
different. But Kamal Hassan was a very good Bharatanatyam dancer. So like Kamal Hassan and female Rekha.
And recent?
And this recent one, Ranveer Singh. I like him, his enthusiasm. And actress Deepika, and also this, I also like Priyanka Chopra, Deepika, yeah, this two.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Sridevi's movie, what is that? Sadma.
Favorite possession?
Favorite possession is my lab.
SRM, I need to inform them.
Yeah.
Favorite
I think they know it. They know it.
favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Again, Old Man and the Seas, man can be destroyed but not defeated. Yeah.
Wow. Great.
That was my very favorite one from the very
Now
beginning.
it
Since
sounds,
the time I read it.
it hits. It's your mantra of the life.
About life is keep doing the good work as long as you're not harming anybody else. Do whatever you want, whatever you love, as long as it is not harmful to anybody
You are
else.
workaholic. Your mantra is also about work. Oh my God. Your favorite trip in the past?
Favorite trip? Definitely UNL trip. That Wari one was one of the most favorite
You
ones.
went with family?
Enjoyed.
You went with family?
Later, yeah.
Later.
They joined, he joined for some time, but not most of the time I was with Richa and Rehana. So I was enjoying V3.
Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? That is again a tricky question. A Bong restaurant in maybe this, what is that called? There is a Bengali restaurant like in Calcutta. I'm forgetting the name.
Favorite cuisine?
Of course, Bong food, Bong fish and rice, yeah. Apart from that, it may be Chinese, yeah. Chinese food I like.
Your bucket list?
Has, as I told you, like one is I want to start up, I want to have my own institute someday. And I want to have this orphanage come old age home, if that is a possibility, if I can make a lot of money. And but with a lot of freedom in a different way. And one last one, what I have is like maybe I want to take my parents to Bangladesh, where they came from, and make them meet Dr. Yunus, Professor Yunus, who is currently the PM. I had a short encounter. Means I took him for Tirupati Darshan in Indian Science Congress So that's how I got to know him. So I think this three I want to do.
Last question. If you were not an academician, what would you have been? Dancer?
I would have ended up in National School of Drama, doing some dramatics. Yeah, on
Okay, so
stage.
please act. Please give me a one brief demonstration.
Oh my God, that's
So give me three emotion, or you want to choose by yourself?
you mean to say emotion?
Yeah, I mean, just be angry and just say something humor. So to
Oh my God, now I'm laughing so much. How can I be angry suddenly? Yeah, but I'll give it a try.
don't be angry on me. Okay, you can do something, whatever. Like you can say some dialogue of some movie.
Oh, movie. No, 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 no. Don't ask me that. Oh my God, I'm finding it difficult though. Is it very important?
Yeah, this is the last page. So
See, like then I cannot tell in English, but I have to use maybe I don't know,
Bengali?
Hindi,
Okay. Hindi? Okay.
Hindi or Bengali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hindi is good. I will understand.
Uh, as a mother
Okay.
to my kids.
Hmm.
मैं ना माँ नहीं हूँ, मेरे बच्चे मेरे माँ है। ये जो मेरी तीन बेटियां हैं ना, ये मुझे सिखाते हैं जिंदगी कैसे जीना होता है। मैं जब बहुत गुस्सा हो जाती हूँ और मैं घर आती हूँ, तो मेरी छोटी वाली मुझे प्यार से बोलती है, मम्मी आज अब क्या बनाओगी? एक पल के लिए लगता है कि मैं कितने गुस्से में थी, उसी वक्त लगता है यही मेरी जिंदगी है। उसकी एक छोटी सी खुशी, छोटे से छोटा सा जो भी है उसके लिए मैं करूं, वो मेरे लिए बहुत महत्व रखता है। माँ बनना इतना आसान नहीं होता। हमेशा माँ बनने के लिए आपको माँ होना भी जरूरी नहीं है। पर ये छोटे तीन बच्चियां मेरी, ये मुझे जीना सिखाती है। हर पल इनके लिए मैं जीती हूँ, इनके लिए मैं हंसती हूँ। ये मुझे सिखाते हैं जिंदगी में कैसे आगे बढ़ना होता है। इनके लिए मैं बहुत कुछ करना चाहती हूँ, सारी दुनिया इकट्ठा करके इनके झोली में लाना चाहती हूँ। मैं इनकी माँ नहीं, मैं इनकी बेटी हूँ। Spontaneous. I don't know. I just tried. No script,
Thankfully, I
huh?
asked because I thought that maybe I will offend you or something, but I am happy that something so beautiful came out. And so thank you so very much for this 3 hours of time, and I hope you also enjoyed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, I super enjoyed. And this was like really overwhelming for me. And thank you. I hope I did justice to your event.
Today, after this, when conversation is over, I am very happy for you and for your progress, and it seems like you deserve every bit of it. And in fact, if you would have had, I would say that you would have gotten more if the stars would have been little more aligned. But I liked your honesty. One thing that surprised me is about uh, you didn't get in trouble. Although today I was not at my best, but and I didn't want you to be in trouble. But you didn't make any trouble, any. So somehow it seems like it was, and I don't think that you stopped yourself or you when you had to say that no, I don't like it, open access, you don't like it. So one time you told me you meant this but I don't mean this, although I didn't mean that. So the and I love the passion part of yours. I like the grooming, and I can tell you that somebody many times such opportunities, because it will be heard by or watched by many people, and many people you can say that okay, I quoted you, or that you are the most influencing guy, but you quoted your grandfather. That shows that you are very, very rooted, and I can tell you, you are going to grow much, much more. You are going to be a huge tree,
Thank you.
and lot of ecosystem is going to do. Now you tell me the good things you told me.
No, I don't have to articulate, but actually you are like such a voracious researcher, and then I mean, what I see is like, many people don't tend to move away from premier institutes, and you took that courage and just to grow high in the ladder, and you don't look back the way you have grown. I think we look up to you. It's not easy. I mean, and the COVID time, especially, I would tell you that I think I would say like for both of us, it was the game changer.
Yeah.
And I see in you that, very spontaneous. And I remember you when you spoke to the DST guys, because they didn't know what we are doing basically in the country. And they are there in the, PAC committee. And you were so bold. That day I was actually a little sick. So I was not even able to talk much. But I could see that boldness is needed. I understood that. And I came back and I was talking to my group that it's so important. See, that time you didn't come from IIT, you came from UPS. And you know how conservative mindset our PAC people have. But even in that case, like how boldly you defended them and said that this is not correct, what you are thinking, like, their perspective, and which is very important. Many a times we tend not to do that out of shyness, or sometimes people are not so bold. And what you have done is like, given the entire world that the need for WBE. I think I learned during the phase. I would be honest with you. I learned because it was a need of the hour, and we were using some marker. So, and I remember, I must mention about Dan that, like, I was just scribbling a concept note, and he sent me an email, and I shared with him in WhatsApp, and he said, like minds things alike. And then I was telling him, like, no, you are a stalwart. I shouldn't be thinking like that, but yeah, I think this is high time we start working on something like this. So I would say, like, you are an ideal for many, and it's not about just the citations or the publications, but also I see you how active you are in the social media, and which is very important. I mean, I really lag behind on this, and the way you manage your time, possibly what we should learn, I should learn at least. And if so many things, it's not easy. And doing such high-end research back in India is challenging. It's not easy. It's not easy. Even I don't think I've listened to one of your talks when you said that you brought the samples, kept in an aircon room, and with the government authorities who may not be even knowing what you're going to do with the samples. So I completely appreciate and really hats off to you, the good work that you are doing, and
This
make us feel proud.
conversation, what did you find about me?
Uh,
These 2 hours.
no, you
Yeah.
like, you're very smart, and you can pull in, get into people's mind and make them answer whatever they are actually not uh, planning to possibly answer
Yes,
in that
yes.
arena. So that was very good and very respectful towards the other person, and which is, I think, mutual respect is very essential for anybody, and that matter of fact. So I'm really happy that we got connected. Yeah.
And I hope that I will be one of your long-term collaborator and friend.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's
And
my
of course,
pleasure.
I envy of Bisal, yeah. And also please convey my regards to your spouse and love to your children. And they are very
Thank you.
lucky to have a great woman as mother and in their life.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.